Hello, I'm Dr. Tom Bailey, Superintendent of Washington Courthouse City Schools, and welcome to inFOCUS, where we talk about the people and programs that make Washington Courthouse a great place to live and learn. Today we have special guests with us in the area of literacy. We'll have Mrs. Sarah Frump, who is the director of Carnegie Public Library, Mrs. Debbie Bryant, who is the director of the United Way of Fayette County, and Mr. Aaron Teter, who is the director of youth services at Carnegie Public Library. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to inFOCUS. Hello and welcome to another edition of inFOCUS, and we are following up with some very special guests today, actually from a conversation that we had from the last episode of inFOCUS, and that is talking about literacy. And we had the conversation last time with Mrs. Wayne and Mrs. Brown from the Curriculum Department of Washington Courthouse City Schools to discuss the great literacy awards that we received from the governor recently for Cherry Hill Primary and Bel Air Intermediate. But there are great things going on in this county for literacy, and we have some very special guests with us. First, we have Sarah Frump, who is the director of Carnegie Public Library here in Fayette County. We have Debbie Bryant, who is the director of the United Way for Fayette County. And we have Mr. Aaron Teter, who is the director of youth services for Carnegie Public Library here in Fayette County. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so first, Sarah, you are the director, obviously, of our wonderful library system here in Fayette County. And not only do we have a beautiful building, but it's really about what happens inside that building for literacy for our kids. So why don't you just give us an update and let our viewers know some of the things, great things going on in the library, if there's anything new going on, how our parents can get our kids involved in reading through the library, not only this summer, but maybe year round.
Oh, absolutely. So as you mentioned, yes, we have a beautiful 1904 building, but I always tell folks that the services we provide go outside of the walls of this building. So we have staff members that are in and out of the schools every day reading. They're at the preschools. Aaron just went to Cherry Hill this morning and read to children. So really our staff is out and about in the community in every way that we possibly can be. I also like to talk about the library as providing services as two bookends, if you will. So from birth until the end of life. So it's lifelong learning, and we just hope to instill a love of reading and a love of learning in all the citizens of Fayette County. And so through our services, that's what we aim to do. So from story times for little ones, we have Little Wigglers, which is for infants, babies, and toddlers. And then we do outreach deliveries to senior citizens throughout the community. So we really do have something for everyone, and it's not just at the library building. It's also virtual. So we have services and free library materials that are all just online. And those are services you can only get with a library card. So, the internet's great, and it's not the end-all be-all. So there are still curated databases and then books that you can borrow for free from the library with a library card. So there really is something for everyone. We do programming all year long. We emphasize programming in the summer. So, as I'm sure Aaron will talk about a little bit, there's a summer slide that parents can think about, what happens when your child stops going to school in the spring and they have that time off in the summer. Well, we have literacy-based and learning-based activities for them all summer long and for all ages.
That's great.
So we've got science camps, art camps. We have stuff for all ages, stuff for teens. So we've got journaling, art programs, yoga, just about everything. And for parents too. So it's not just, you can come with your kids and you're going to sit there. We've got stuff that you can do as well.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. And these programs, various costs or?
They are all free.
All free?
All free.
Okay.
So occasionally we will have something that's fee-based. If it is, it's usually we're working with an outside organization and there's a supply fee and it's usually nominal. But 99% of our programs are 100% free. So we strive to partner with organizations that can provide free resources for our patrons. And that we provide free resources for our patrons as well. So
that's
all
amazing.
Free.
That's
yep.
amazing.
And yeah, the library card. So if you're in kindergarten or age 5 and above, you can get a library card. You don't have to leave home. You can sign up online. So you can register for a library card. That will gain you access to digital resources just as soon as we can verify your information. And then after that, if you want to come in, you can get your card, your physical card, and you can start borrowing physical materials. You don't have to have a library card to participate in library programs, although of course we want you to, because
Sure.
that means you can take part of all of our resources. But it's really infinite what you can do with our library.
Okay. You probably have a lot of people that stop by, not necessarily to even take out materials, but to read there in the library.
Oh, absolutely.
Or I know you have some other activities in the library, just reading nooks and places people can go, and genealogy department.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about the
Yes.
genealogy department.
So the library is still, it's different than the library that you maybe grew up with, so it's not always as quiet. Certainly downstairs the children's department gets a little raucous, but we enjoy that. We want to hear that. We want the kids to be having a good time. But upstairs we do try to have that that familiar library feel that folks look for. And so just to be surrounded by books and to maybe find a quiet place to study or meet. So we do have a lot of those facets for folks. And yes, our genealogy department and local history, for a library of our size, we really have a fantastic resource. So we got donations years ago, and we have, I think, all 50 states represented in our genealogy materials. So these are print materials, but then also through online databases. And a lot of folks pass through Fayette County. So we get requests from all across the United States, folks looking for family histories of loved ones, and we provide that to them. It's a free service. We do ask for a donation sometimes for the obituary requests, but we do provide research for them. And our local history, we have a whole section of just Fayette County. And so we've got everything from yearbooks to cemetery records to, we've got the Record Herald on microfilm back to 18 something or other. And so
Wow.
it's all there. And sometimes folks just like to come in and browse the old newspapers or take a look at the yearbooks. Additionally, our yearbooks, we've started a digitization project with those too. So those are available, some of them online. So you can even go and browse yearbooks online.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's switch over to Aaron. You take care of the youth services at the library.
Yeah.
So what kind of things are you seeing or doing in the I guess the downstairs?
The downstairs, the raucous
The
downstairs.
raucous downstairs. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is similar to in the adult department, but it's birth to 12, and so more outward joy, more enthusiasm, and stuff like that. Books is always a focus. We always want kids in choosing either books that they need, like academically, or books that they want, like will be fun. But a lot of our traffic is just kids coming in and they want to play or hang out or get into something interesting. The girls get out a game every afternoon and play Clue or play Monopoly. We have Oculus VR, and people come in and play on the Oculus VR. Mostly kids, but adults do as well. And that's mostly our traffic. And then computers for kids downstairs as well. And then books that we can get in their hands, and if they're just interested or whatever, it's free, so there's no risk. I always tell them, take this home, and if you don't like it, don't read it. Just bring it back and get another one, and maybe you'll like that one. And we can be your side of it, like with the science of reading, the structure is there, and we can be selfish and greedy and just say you're gonna love it, you're gonna love it, you're gonna love it, and that will help too.
Right, right. So if a parent is maybe not sure what their child is interested in or what likes they have, and they're coming to the library one of the first times, and maybe they're not regular goers to the library, and they're maybe as a child they never went to the
Right,
library.
right.
You know, they're bringing their child in to you. How do you find out about where to point the child in the first place? Or
We do
parents?
our best to get them the book that's going to be best for them. And a lot of times I go with like, well, what are you reading at school? Like, what have your teachers given you that you've liked? And so we can kind of go that way. Asking questions what their interests are. Maybe we can get a book about this, a book about this. Asking questions about what level they think they're on. A lot of our books are organized by Lexile. Or we have charts that kind of match if they have the AR level or whatever level the schools have given them. And then sometimes it comes down to the 5-finger rule. And like, here's a book, and I want you to read a page. And if there's 5 words that you're having trouble with, then probably that's not going to be a fun book for you to read because it's going to be too much struggling. But if you can read most of the page, then you can read this book. And if you'll love it, you'll love it.
Awesome.
And then, yeah, take home a couple, and I hope you love them all. But if you don't, it's fine. Just read the one you love and come get more.
I assume we see an uptick in kids visiting your department over the summer?
Yes, definitely over the summer. When they're out of school, they have, first of all, just more time. They're home during the day. And then also they have more, I think, brain power because you guys aren't working them in the schools over the summer, and so they can do more there. And a lot of times they're coming in just for fun, pleasure, goof off, hang out. And a lot of times they're coming in because they want to read because they're not getting that stimulation they got at school.
Yeah.
So we have a summer reading program. As far as every year, it's a different combination of reading you do, and you get prizes and rewards when you're done. And so we'll have that again this summer. I believe it's pretty simple to accomplish. They're going to read for 5 hours this summer, and I hope most kids will read. That should be easy, is what I'm saying.
Correct.
They track their time on an app called Beanstack, and when they're done, we have coupons and prizes for them. Some of the coupons every kid gets. There's Ranchers will have a milkshake in our prize pack, and Donato's is giving them a pizza. And then some are bigger prizes where it's a drawing.
Yeah.
So if you've done your reading, you might be going to Kings Island, or if you've done, we just got a family pass to the YMCA. Very generous of them. So your family might become members of the YMCA if you've done your reading.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. Great. Well, we have a great connection because you do some work for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, and I don't want to go another second without introducing Dolly Parton, who is looking over your shoulder. She comes to us straight from Pigeon Forge. She just got off the train at Dollywood. But Debbie Bryant, our director of United Way, obviously very invested and worked really hard to get the Dolly Parton Imagination Library here in Fayette County, which not only I wouldn't characterize as just happening, but it's happening at an extremely high level. So tell us about the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Maybe give us a little history of where we've come from and where we're going.
Right, absolutely. So I've been with the United Way for 10 years this year, and I think the Dolly Parton Imagination Library is one of my proudest moments. I worked with Ann Quinn, who was in your position prior, to bring the Dolly Parton Imagination Library to Fayette County. And we are, it'll be 6 years in the fall. We actually launched it during the summer reading program with the library. But the library, Dolly Parton Imagination Library, is celebrating 30 years this year. And so Fayette County is celebrating 6 years. And when I researched bringing it to Fayette County, the numbers were you probably won't reach 50% of the age-eligible children. Let me just tell you what age eligible is. Birth up to age 5.
Okay.
So you probably won't reach up to 50%. Well, right now, as Aaron knows, we are at 67% of age eligible children of Fayette County receive a book in the mail every single month. And so
That's amazing.
we are very proud of that. Very proud of that.
Which is very close to 1,100 kids. So
Yes.
1,100 books every month. are
Every
going out.
month.
Yeah.
And when you reach 5, and we'll talk about the graduation program. Aaron did a great job. But when you reach 5, you graduate out of the program. You age out of the program. And we've had over 1,000 children already age out of the program as well. So we hope that our kindergarten teachers are seeing a difference. Our children know how to read from left to right instead of doing this. They know how to open a book when they get to kindergarten, and we're hoping that's the case with 67% of the kids getting books every month. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they start with every child gets the little engine that could. That's just the
Kind
book.
of Dolly Parton.
It-
Dolly's favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just where they start, and they end. If they start at birth, by the time they reach 5, they'll have a library of 60 books.
Okay.
Every child ends with "Look out, kindergarten! Here I come." So we're hoping that they're ready for kindergarten.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. So if somebody's watching this, they have a child who's between the age of 0 and 5, and they have not participated in this program, what do they need to do to get into the program?
Well, the first thing, they can sign up at the library
Okay.
anytime. They can sign up online just at imaginationlibrary.com. They'll go to that website, they'll look for the affiliate, they'll type in Fayette County, ask for the city, because Fayette County has several, New Holland, Bloomingburg, whatever. So they'll just type in their information and they'll just register right online.
Totally free?
Totally free, there's no eligibility requirements, so
And
totally free.
There's no commitment at all. You're going to give us your address because we need to mail the books.
Mm-hmm.
We won't contact you unless there's like a question, like if you've moved or something. Other than that, you just sign up and then get books until you're
Right.
6.
Right, and the book comes with a label. It's directly to the child. And
That's
I've heard kids wanting to check their mail on Sunday. Like, let's go check the mailbox on Sunday because my book might be there. Well, the mail doesn't run on Sunday, but they're excited for that, and they're
Yeah.
excited about books. So, yes.
So obviously this is a free program, and Dolly obviously has a lot to do behind it, but there is a financial commitment from us in the county to make this happen for our own children, correct?
Absolutely. So we launched in 2019, and we knew there was going to be a financial, and the United Way is the affiliate for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library here in Fayette County. And then it was a blessing. The Ohio Governor's Imagination Library then started in 2020, with Fran having a lot of grandchildren. She is a very big fan of the Imagination Library. So now we do have a financial piece of that program. The Ohio Governor's Library actually pays half
Okay.
of our cost. With that being said, it is about between $26 and $27 per child per year that we are paying half of that. So it's still costing the United Way about $14,000 a year here in Fayette County for that program. And I'm very fortunate. We have some local business sponsors that have stepped up and sponsor that program for the most part.
But if there's an individual who's listening to this, loves literacy, loves children, and wants to be a benefactor to that, are they able to donate specifically to that program?
Absolutely. You can always designate your donation. If you donate to the United Way, you can designate your donation to the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
So I heard the word graduation. What's going on with graduation with our kids when they're coming out of the Dolly Parton Imagination Library?
So this was it was last
It's
fall.
last September.
It was last September. And Aaron came up with, we had talked about it, just putting it together. We didn't know exactly how it was going to go.
Yeah.
But Aaron did a great job. And I'm going to let you talk about the little graduation program
So-
that we had.
Some of the affiliates, every county in Ohio has Dolly Parton Imagination Library, and it's all, we can see their ideas and exchange and whatever. So they've been holding some graduations, and it's just kind of a, you've aged out, we're kicking you out, but let's have one last literacy party before you go. So we invited anybody that had aged out, anybody that hit their birthday between 2 Septembers ago and last September, and were in the Dolly Parton Library up till their birthday, to come to Carnegie Library, and we had just a graduation ceremony like it's a high school graduation, but tinier. And they made little hats with the tassels, and we had a very, very short speech, and we read a Dolly Parton book out loud like a story time. And then they stood up front and got their diplomas. And had
But
a
they
picture
marched up
and
front, just like
pomp and
graduation.
circumstances
Yes,
playing
they
in the
marched up
background.
front. They got their little diploma. It was adorable, and I'm assuming we're going to try
Yeah, I
and do
think
that
this
again.
September-ish,
And-
if your child has aged out or graduated in this past year, that's one thing we will use your email for, is I'll get into the database and I'll contact you by email and invite you and your child to come to graduation.
That's awesome. Any chance of getting Dolly there to be the speaker?
Maybe this one.
Okay.
Dolly did come to Ohio when Ohio kicked off and had every county. When the Dolly Parton Imagination Library was available in every county, Dolly did come to Columbus and celebrate with Ohio. And Ohio gave her a gift of a quilt with a square from every county.
Oh, very nice. What else about the Dolly Parton Imagination
Well,
Library?
so Ohio just celebrated the state. We've given out 20 million books.
Okay.
In Fayette County, it's about 50,000 of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you have multiple children who are within that grade band, you can sign each child up individually?
For sure. And
Yes.
then they'll get different books than each other because it's by age. So
Got it.
they know when the birthday is, and they put you into the algorithm, and you get this book at this age and this book at this
Okay.
age.
And the books change every year. Now they're going to get the little engine that could, because that's just what everyone gets. But the books do change every year, and they're age appropriate. So.
Okay, very good. Well, it sounds like there's amazing things going on in our county for literacy, and there's really no excuse that our kids cannot get free books, whether they be ones to keep through the Imagination Library or ones to borrow through Carnegie Library. A lot of activities going on year-round for all of our kids. So, yeah, just encourage all of our families to get involved, to get their children involved in these activities and these opportunities to read, and just make a stronger community for everyone involved. That's awesome. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about your organization or your programming?
Well, as we're reaching the end of the school year, I just want to mention that we are going to have a summer reading program kickoff.
Okay.
And so it's mostly for children, but it's for families and all ages. That's on May 27th. We're going to have a food truck. We're going to have activities. We're going to have a magic show. There's going to be just a whole lot going on at the library. So I would just invite the whole community to come out.
Okay.
And then also, please feel free to check out the little free libraries that we have throughout the community, too.
How many of those do we have? Do
Oh,
you know?
gosh. 7 maybe?
Okay.
Some of
5
the
or
newest ones
7.
at the YMCA just
Yes.
opened last
Okay.
week.
So we partner with the
Awesome.
YMCA for that. We've got one at Shaw Wetlands. We've got one at the library. There's one in New Holland, one in Bloomingburg,
Presbyterian Church.
one at Presbyterian Church. So yeah, we've got
Good Hope.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's wonderful.
So-
And certainly, as we wrap up this edition of inFOCUS, if you have any questions about what's happening at Carnegie or what's happening with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, you can reach out to either the library or to United Way. Certainly, we're looking for donors for the Imagination Library. If that's on your heart, we just urge you to donate towards that. And I'd like to especially thank my guest, Debbie Bryant from the United Way of Fayette County, and Sarah Frump and Aaron Teter from Carnegie Public Library. So thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this edition, and we look forward to seeing you next time on inFOCUS.